I was continuing.
Yeah, just real quick question. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're on Fox News. Speaking just about this situation, there's people that support ICE, there's people that are fearful of what's going on. If that happened in New York, what happened to Alex Prey, is that an acceptable way to handle things, or do you want to maybe scale things back? What's your message?
Yeah, I don't think that's the right question to answer. I 100% support our law enforcement. These are well-trained individuals. I do worry that the governor and the mayor in Minneapolis are not acting in accordance with working with our law enforcement. People need to understand something. I'm also a lawyer, and I have a lot of police officer friends and colleagues and people I work with. You do not interfere with a police officer that is acting pursuant to a legal warrant and a lawful warrant, which these are. And it's a tragedy that people are being, either ginned up or getting paid, or there's some kind of grassroots effort. We don't know. We think it's AstroTurf. There's money and logistics behind getting people to show up to protest against law enforcement in a very dangerous job, in a very hostile situation. You don't know, and I serve on the House Intelligence Committee. The public does not know who is in that place that they're looking. It could be a very dangerous criminal, and usually with them, they're not with other criminals. They're with innocent people who they may be extorting or hiding behind or getting cover from. We don't know that, and that's why I think we need to investigate these situations. We need to make sure that we support law enforcement, that they're not intimidated or interfered with. This is like chasing down a police officer who's trying to catch a bank robber. This is a situation that's urgent, a situation that's been planned out. They have a staging area in order to figure out how to get these people. And I want to say I'm really gratified that Tom Homan, who by the way lives in New York 24, and who hails from this, longtime police officer, law enforcement personnel, he is going to go in and de-escalate the situation already. He's compassionate. He knows about children who have been human trafficked all over our country because of the open border. He also knows how to deal with law enforcement and how to work with our elected officials. And you already see Governor Walz, Mayor Fry willing to work with him. So I think it's really important to have law enforcement involved with assisting them. But this is a very difficult job, and I'm really happy that Tom is stepping up and doing that, and that President Trump appointed him to do it. I think people should be, really think twice about going out and trying to protest and interfere in these dangerous operations. They are not going after people who are, innocent. I mean, they've already got a warrant of some kind that this person is the person being sought after. So that's just my advice. It's a tragic situation. I think a lot of these people don't get full information before they go out and protest. And it's unfortunate. And I also think, another side to this is, why are we talking about this? There was $100 million, $200 million in fraud committed
because it was an American
with the Quality Leering Center.
Yeah, an American U.S. citizen was
but the
fatally
Quality
killed by
Leering
an ICE
Center
agent.
came first. And then all of a sudden, these protesters, magically appeared
this
to
was the
go
second
after and
fatal
attack
shooting
ICE
in the
agents
second
once.
within
So are we
weeks.
covering up the fraud? Probably that's part of it, but it's a tragedy. Nobody should lose their life, and they should not be confronting law enforcement. They should be respectful. It's not a cop on the beat when you're doing these types of investigations and warrant executions. It is not a cop on the beat, and I think people need to distinguish that. I think people need to speak out on that, and I know law enforcement. These are tough jobs, and it's more.
Sorry,
I don't want to listen to your narrative that.
I'm asking a legitimate question in terms of
just as a follow-up. Just an American killed, no evidence of any gun at
First of
all.
all, the Quality Leering Center occurred long before protests. This was all the fraud was.
But you, in your own words on Twitter, have emphasized protests for whatever cause it may be. You have emphasized the freedom of speech. I've gone through your Twitter feed.
I'm all for freedom of speech, but freedom of speech.
There was no violent protests.
There are violent protests. Have you
But
watched the
in this
videos?
case
Alex Preddy,
specifically.
this case,
Look
that's
at the
why we're talking
protests.
about
Well,
it.
this case has. I'm not going to get into this. It has to be investigated. We don't know what the facts are. There's all kinds of
So the
videos,
justification
but you don't know what
of
the facts
fatal-
are because we haven't done
So
an investigation of it. Let law
Should state
enforcement
and law
the people
enforcement there
deal
have
with
access to the crime scene? The state and local law enforcement there, should they have access?
We should have a full all-of-government approach. Federal, state, local should all look into it. That's why Tom Homan's going out there. And I think it's really just disappointing to me that we're back at the defund, demoralize the police movement again. By defunding and demoralizing and attacking, referring to these people who are serving in very difficult jobs and difficult conditions. I just don't think it's fair to the law enforcement, and it's unfair to these people who don't have the information to be out there not really understanding the job of law enforcement. And that's why you have these terrible tragedies happening, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter.
Thank you.